Listen, man, they don't care about your lungs. They don't care about your house. They don't care about your crops. They don't care about your health. They don't care about your children. They care about their quarterly profit sheet. And now they've got the Department of Energy doing their denial routine on government letterhead.
I hope you're ready. I'm about to perform a public disservice.
Charles, holy cow, talk about nihilism. The Department of Energy this week just released a shiny new climate science report. And it turns out that climate change, it's actually not that big of a deal. Yay! Yes. Oceans rising, forests burning, extended hurricane seasons, crops failing. It's okay. F*** it. This is great because when I need the truth about a scientific question, I always go to the guys that still think coal is the future. All right, stop goofing around. Here's what really happened. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, they have this thing called the endangerment finding. Basically, it's the legal backbone that says greenhouse gases and industrial pollutants are dangerous to human health, which means the government should regulate them. Okay. Well, the Department of Energy wrote this report as basically a political hand grenade to throw at that law so they can blow it up, so that emissions can go unregulated again. Do you know who wrote this report? I'll tell you who. It came straight from the Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, a former oil and gas executive, yes, by the way.
Of course.
He handpicked this group of so-called climate working group experts. It was these 5 people, ex-oil executives, and a couple of bought and paid for crackpot scientists. Right? Critics noted that this junior varsity squad excluded any actual experts from like NASA or the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Agency, the guys who are actually climate experts whose, job is to actually study this stuff. And instead, they leaned on this small circle with a history of giving the fossil fuel industry some really awesome Christmas gifts. So Secretary Wright defended the report as bringing balance to the climate conversation. And the co-authors claimed it was time to change the so-called consensus. To which 80 or so actual climate scientists basically replied together, this isn't balance, this is bullshit. Actually, as it turns out, when actual trained scientists read the report, they responded the same way my doctor reported. When I showed up at his office with a WebMD printout and said, I diagnosed myself! They called it garbage. They called it cherry-picked, misleading, and straight-up anti-science. The guy who took charge of this, Dr. Andrew Dessler from Texas A&M, said, quote, this report makes a mockery of science, and we needed to respond to it. So him and 79 other leading scientists from, not just climate, from all disciplines, chemists, geologists, biologists, all the different subsects of science, basically 80 of some of the smartest humans on Earth, all got together and agreed this Department of Energy report is not just flawed, it is intentionally misleading. Are any of you starting to suspect that maybe this wasn't really about science, but maybe it was about money and big oil companies and their pet politicians who've been denying climate change for decades?
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like we've seen this before. Like it's kind of the same playbook as big tobacco used back in the day.
I believe nicotine is not addictive, yes.
Mr. Johnston.
Congressman, cigarettes and nicotine clearly do not meet the classic definitions of addiction. There is no intoxication.
We'll take that as a no, and
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
Well, yes, you've developed cancer, but perhaps it's the way you're holding the cigarette. Listen, man, they don't care about your lungs. They don't care about your house. They don't care about your crops. They don't care about your health. They don't care about your children. They care about their quarterly profit sheet. And now they've got the Department of Energy doing their denial routine on government letterhead. For Christ's sake, this is like you hire an arsonist to write the fire code, and then you act surprised when your fucking house burns down. This Department of Energy report, it's not just a joke, it's a legal weapon. If it gets traction in the courts, they could use it to dismantle climate regulations for decades, right? No caps, no limits, no accountability. Just a green light for anyone to dump whatever they want into the sky until Miami looks like Atlantis. and Arizona feels like Mercury. Don't be fooled. This is lobbying. This is lobbying dressed up as science. It's Exxon's PR bastards in a lab coat and safety glasses, and it's designed specifically to keep you confused while they pump billions of dollars out of the earth, even if the actual earth is literally on fire. But we can look on the bright side. When the sea levels rises and swallows Florida, we'll get a chance at some beachfront property. Like in Tennessee, maybe. Problem solved. Please share, like, subscribe, or don't, because I don't give a shit, because we're all gonna die. You included.
I honestly think if I looked out the window and saw a meteor hurtling towards us, I'd just go, yeah, that's fair.
I wouldn't be disappointed.